Okay.
Peace, peace, peace and love, family. Hope everybody doing well. Um, interview time, interview time. Here with one of my favorite people in the world, my good brother, from Blessed Beads, Pade, Jerel Ade. And me and bro, we've been rocking with each other strong for a nice amount of time. We family. And whenever it comes down to any of my spiritual aspects, like my readings, I remember when I wasn't having dreams, bro, he told me how to get myself together, and then I just segued over into a whole nother realm, and then that led me into my indigenous practices. So without further ado, I'm about to bring bro on so y'all can get an introduction to him and what it is that he does and how it can benefit you in your life. Here we go. Peace.
Peace. Peace, bro. How you doing? How's everybody doing? Peace to the gods, to the goddesses, to the emperors, to the empresses. Abu Abuye, Abu Shishe, to the follow the Ifa, Alafia, all that good stuff, and hi, good. Yeah.
So it's you do a couple different things. Well,
Yeah.
mainly like for the most part, your company that I was running the logo for the interview, that's Blessed Beads. So can you tell me a little bit about Blessed Beads, how long you've been dealing with that, and what got you interested into even starting that company?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, initially I got started about 4 or 5 years ago. Um, I've always been interested in jewelry, always been interested in standing out, if you will, but not in the way that, different cultures project it to be. So for me, just the pure passion for wanting to be different, but also having the desire to uh, figure out what it is that is deeper meanings to certain things drew me to this profession and drew me to this. And started off as a hobby and started off as something that was just like, cool to look at. And these are nice looking things. And then, I started to get more in depth with the understanding of the gemstones. I started to get more in depth with the understanding of how the properties work and how these metaphysical understandings correlate with the universe as well as myself. So for me, um, it was almost like something that I couldn't avoid. You know, it kind of started off as a hobby, then slowly began to be an obsession. Which I tell people all the time: you need an obsession. If you're not obsessed, then what are you doing? You know. I hope that satisfies the question. Um,
Yeah, that's great. So that's on the bead aspect, and I know you a little bit more personal than most people, so I know how spiritually inclined you are, and as it like you are where I am with business, you're there with spirituality. And that's what I tell people. Like, so whenever it comes to readings, that's the reason why I always send them over to you. I'm like, I do the commerce and the money and stuff. And I was like, bro, he do the readings. He know how to tell you who you are, where you coming up short at, where you fucking up, where you need to correct yourself. And it I'm not to say that it's coming from you, but you are a perfect channel for the spirit or the energy in order to work through you. And I know anytime I've ever came to you and I got a reading, it's always been on point, bro. Even from like starting out. And can you talk about the readings? Like what is it to like divination and readings? I wanna get into that a little bit.
okay, and so in the universe, it's based off of a concept of expansion and contraction. And so some people attribute it to being light and dark, you know. And when you go to an art form of divination, you're literally communing with the divine. And so to commune with the divine is not a hard thing to do, but it's also just like getting on this podcast or this channel. It's a certain formulaic process that has to happen in order for things to be streamed in a certain frequency to be received well. So when it comes to divination, a lot of people think it's like kind of like based on uh, premonitions or psychic abilities and stuff like that. They could play a certain part into it, but nah, it's really scientific. It's really mathematical, especially when it comes to what we call E5 divinations. And so other divinations, tarot, I Ching, different systems that we use, even the runes with the Nordic system, they all have a mathematical understanding to them. E5 just has to happen to be one of the oldest, if not the oldest. And so with it being one of the oldest, it has some of the most accuracy that's been attributed to divination. And so E5 comes out of E5 or Fa or Sheshe Lagba, whatever however you want to shape it. Traditional Yoruba culture practice a tradition called E5, and it's basically a understanding of the mysteries of nature, which we call Orisha. And so these Orisha have different attributes, and these attributes sometimes pan over, not sometimes, but they pan over into our everyday life as well as our characters. So it's different stories or atakis that they tell in different settings, especially with divination when it comes to E5. It's always some kind of parable or story that tells the client about the issue that's going on or the issues that may be seen or unseen. And so I don't try to push my thought process on anybody, but I always say that, I mean, if I could know I shouldn't go this way through doing this, I think I would want to know if it's just gonna, I gotta make a small sacrifice for a bigger result or for a result to go my way. To me, I mean, it's kind of
It's a no brainer.
It's no question.
Because like I caught myself doing it earlier today. My last reading, I had Baba down in Atlanta. He had did it for me. I told you about it, and reading was great, bro. And like it was the first time I ever got a reading that didn't initially drop an E-ray, but even still, it was still, that don't necessarily mean nothing bad.
No.
So for those who don't know what I'm gonna ask for you to explain that as well. But I take notes because that way you can go back and understand. And I recommend anybody who ever get a reading while they doing your reading, if they don't send you over information on it, you take notes. That way you can go back and remember the things that they said, because it's imperative. Because some of these things that get told to you in the readings, they come out over a period of time. You need to be able to go back and remember what was said to you. And I caught myself doing that today. And I was just thinking about some of the stuff as it pertains to business and my money situations. So like when it pertains to the spiritual aspect, and I was speaking on E-Ray, like E-Ray, Ajay and stuff, like let's talk about money, because that, I'm the money man. How closely intertwined are those two things, spirituality and our commercial situation?
Sure. It's funny you say that, and I'll give this to the YouTube channel, to the podcast, to the people that's watching. A very good herb or fern that you can use for money. Just before I even talk about it, it's called the Rose of Jericho, and it's a very good fern. I'm actually over here looking at one right now, and you just put water on it, put your money in it, and then you can take the water that you put in the bowl for the fern to open up and blossom, and you can put coins in it, and you spend the coins on lottery tickets or if you don't know if it's gonna happen, or you're catching the bus somewhere you don't really know where you're going. The money, the spirit in the Rose of Jericho, the money that was in the Rose of Jericho, it'll guide the way. So do your own research, look up the Rose of Jericho, look what it's good for, and yeah, you can also use it to protect your home and stuff like that. So it's very good. But just to segue into the idea of what they say in Yoruba is Aj or Owo, which Owo is money, and Aj is Yoruba culture. One word could mean 17 things, but it's kind of the pronunciation and the tonal effect. But nevertheless, the idea you're speaking on, Aj, it deals with the idea, and I think it's very important. It deals with the idea of respecting women. Okay. And it's very interesting that the respect for women and money are the same thing. So in Yoruba
Thank you.
culture,
That is so important. So there's a direct correlation between your financial relationship and the way that you treat women.
sure.
Even women with women.
Women, or just the femininity concept, which is the idea of reception, patience, understanding, awareness, all of these feminine concepts that take a little bit more time than just reaction or action, or it's more contemplation, more nurturing. So to respect that concept is to respect money, but also just thinking about a story about the IJ, and how people, they don't respect IJ, they don't respect money. They just throw it on the ground, or they say take a penny, leave a penny, just leave a penny, or, stuff like that. Nothing against that, because it might be helping somebody, but the respect of it, in the sense of even I think about some hip hop artists where they go to different clubs, and it's exotic women there, and they throwing the money at them. You see the Do you see the correlation where
Yeah.
they're throwing the? It's not necessarily disrespect, because it's like, well, that's who birthed the money, which is the women, right? But it's also the intention behind it. So it's
Yeah.
not like, and that's what a lot of it really revolves around.
I'm about to
But
say, because if we have if we have a traditional event and women are dancing and we throw money at them, they will, in our system, they fully dress and it's
surely,
not sexualized.
yeah, it's again more metaphysical, like the initial practice is, but just like everything, it evolves, I guess, or starts to take on its own thing. And so I think that, just to veggie back on the whole idea of finances and spirituality, the more spiritual you are, the less finances that you worry about. Not because you better with money per se, not because you don't have any problem. No, it's because spirit doesn't allow you to worry like that. And just like being in tune with something, like we're on the same channel right now.
Mhm.
Once you have that rapport built, or you have that connection, you know, they won't let you suffer like that. You'll go through your hurdles, you'll go through your destiny trials and tribulations, but as far as the financial issues, not necessarily. It'll show, the spirit will show you, ancestors, Orisha, Loa, whatever you believe in, they'll show you the ways. It's just about that femininity. Are you respecting femininity to pay attention to the signs of symptoms? Are you loving femininity enough to wait, to sit back and hold on, let me observe instead of participate. So
I completely concur, because I, like, me myself, as I started to expand my spiritual aspect, I said that to somebody else, my finances started to increase. And one thing I remember going through a real rigid stage as I was developing my mind in business. And I remember even being like, all that metaphysics shit don't matter, all that spiritual shit don't matter. Like, to anybody who's a skeptic, I am a true changed man. And it was just like, I didn't always feel like that. It was just because I was just focused on getting money, focused on business. I was like, all that don't matter. But in order for me to be centered, me to be grounded, and like me to have a peace of mind, I had to start tapping in elsewhere. And when I did, I was able to get symbols and signs and learn how to read these things in order to watch out for things as it pertains to my business situation. Like, especially like you will get a reading that tell you to watch out for fraud people that's coming, and it will make you tighten up on like, because you don't know how it may come. And then even some people, like, their readings come up with death. Death doesn't necessarily mean that somebody's going to die, but it can mean like a change or a renewing or ending of a relationship or something like that. So it's also being able to understand the allegory behind it.
Absolutely. I just had a thought in my head where, I was just making some ways, or I'm making some ways be for someone, a woman, and obviously, and I just made like maybe about 5 or 6 different different bracelets in the last few days, and they all been for women. I mean, it's not to say that we have to ignore the masculine principle or nothing like that, but it's to say that that masculine principle is always it's always how you say presented. The femininity is not. So that's the hidden thing. That's the when you talking about expansion. And you find the expansion is the woman. They say a person that has children, you have to have a woman have children. A person that has children instantly expands. They don't have a choice. You might think, oh man, I don't want to have kids. It's instant expansion. You even start thinking, man, I gotta say this, I gotta get with that, I gotta figure this out. Things like that. This is expansion working at its finite or at its real sentient way, and there's nothing you can do to escape it. So I just say, when it comes to wealth, don't really desire it. Just yeah, because it's not something you should want. It's just something you are. And if you're not like a wealthy individual, wealthy, healthy, those type of things, then I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how much you acquire. Look at all of these sick people in the media. All of these people that's got all these cases and things like that that's going on, and they wealthy as hell. Got every dollar they could possibly imagine, but they spirit ain't shit. Soul is gone. Ain't got one. They ain't no selling it. They just ain't coming. You can't sell something that's unsellable. You just either come with one or you don't come with one. So for me, and I tell other people, I ask, but when I look at women, and when I look at the idea of what they bring just on the level of physicality, it's like, wait, why wouldn't you admire that? Why wouldn't the expansion come from that principle? Not just women, but femininity. And so
Can
I
you
just
explain the story of Oshun? Because that's what's on my heart right now. Because I feel like that needs to be expressed to people, especially the way you just broke it down.
okay. It's a few different stories of Oshun. She's
The one about how they forgot about her name.
okay. I just, before it's kind of traditional to do, and I just feel inclined to do, to just give a little homage.
Oh yeah, we didn't do no ancestor honoring or anything.
Yeah, and they on my head real quick. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, please, let's get that in order. Forgive me.
Actually, let me show you what the Rose of Jericho look like, so y'all have a good idea.
Oh yeah, you should see my plant. That boy going crazy right now.
I already know. Yeah, we can talk about the Obama too. It's called the Never Die Plant. Yeah. So this is the Rose of Jericho right here. Let me see.
Oh, that looks freaky.
Yeah, it coming like a ball. And you
Hold
can
on,
see
let me.
Hold on, let me see on there. Shit, I'm gonna do this. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So this is the Rose of Jericho. and it's got some coins in it, you know, stuff like that. So I'm gonna just say some quick little libations to the ancestors, and you know, Ibashe Gungun, Ibashe Gungun, Ibashe Gungun, Ibashe Yami, Ibashe Yami, Ibashe Yami, Ibashe Orimi, Ibashe Orimi, Ibashe Orimi. Only Tutu, Ile Tutu, Tutu La Roya, Tutu La Gungun, Shay Tutu, Shay Tutu. Ibashe Eshodara, Muju Baba, Muju Baye, Ikinyo Popana, Popana, Ikinyo Popana, Popana. Eshu Mashimio, Eshu Mashimio, Eshu Mashimio, Eshu Watiti 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 I salute the power and the ashe of the ancestors, of the ones that are present on this podcast, the ones that are present in the universe. I ask that the ancestors always be in proper alignment with them, always bring them guidance, always bring them support. Let the ancestors always eat with us. Let the ancestors always sup with us. Do not let us forget the ancestors. Do not let us forget the ones who have come before us. I salute the power and the ashe of the divine message of transformation, Eshu Dara. I ask that Eshu always open the roads for the ones that are present, for the ones who are not present, and are of love. I ask that Eshu continues to bring forth great erase, great understanding, great finances. Do not confuse the ones that are present. Do not let the ones that are present go away from their destiny. Salute the power and ashe of all Orisha, Ashe, Eke.
Asheo. So for those who don't know, can you let's get some background about you, especially because you just completely spoke in a completely different language, and that's something that a lot of other people can't do. So first off, where are you from, and can we get a background on like your education, how old you are?
Okay. Originally, they say I'm from Detroit, so I'm going with that, you know, and I'm not just trying to make fun of it, but you know, I got a different kind of thought process, but I understand what you're asking. So I'm from Detroit, I guess, and I don't know, I've been in a few different sects of life. Um, Graduated college 2015, social work, bachelor's in social work, you know. I do social work now. Right? So if anybody's a social worker out there, I know y'all know I made that face, but you know, I do social work now for local agency here in Houston, Texas, is where I'm currently now. And so
Hey,
I'm also a musician. I initially started out going to college as a musician. Been in band all my life, and even created a music company. Check out the page, We Up ENT. You know, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that. And so started doing photography and different forms of media entertainment with that. Uh, just really started, you know, get off into that idea. And then it dawned on me that helping people was not something that not necessarily musicians did, but it's not their direct practice as entertainment. So I started to segue to something that's more cerebral and emotional, which is social work and specific behavioral counseling, social work. So 30, you know, I'm old, but I ain't that old. You know, 30 is
and what
like,
language was you just speaking?
oh, that was Europe. And if anybody Europe out there, you know, don't kill me, you know. But most of it was cool. You know, some people go, you're not saying this. I don't care.
Be them accents over the letters, man. Some of them words, it's like they got one word got 20 meanings, bro.
Sure. Like I was saying, IJ, you know, it means money, like wealth and stuff. But then the opposite side, or I ain't said opposite side, but another meaning is the witches. Like,
Yeah, Aj and excuse me, Aj, and then it's Eje, and
like
that's
so you
blood.
got Right. You got and the relation with how Yoruba is so oftenly, uh, so beautiful is because they'll put like words like EJ and AJ, and they kind of spell similar, but excuse me, they spell similar and they have similar correlations because the witches deal with the blood and the EJ is the blood and the AJ, it's like don't mess with them or you got to get, you never mess with the witches. It has such an interconnection that it's not hard to learn the language to a certain degree because they 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 play on each other so closely. Unlike English linguistics, where it's so many, you could say "What up, though,"
So
or "How you doing," and they mean the
Ebonics.
same thing. you know.
So based on that aspect, speaking on the intelligence of the Yoruba nation, I would like to segue over into a little bit of a better understanding of Odu and
Oh yeah.
binary code and that correlation.
Before we do that, you said you wanted to. I wanted to touch on Oshun real quick.
Go ahead.
Oshun, it's a story. It's really. I'm just breaking it. The one I'm going to tell you is really short in a sense. Basically, all the Orisha, they were on Earth, and they started to kind of forget about the whole idea of really like embracing one another. There was a lot of kind of chaotic type of energy going on, and if I remember correctly, they were like at a little gathering, and Olofi or Eladamare asked, "Where's Oshun at?" And it was like, we don't know or whatever. And Oshun had dipped out. She wanted to go hide or just, be by herself because she like, nobody really remembers the idea of what Oshun is. Nobody remembers me. And when the world forgets about Oshun, don't ain't nothing good. Oshun, she's symbolism of the rivers, the lakes, uh, sweetness, honey, the butterfly, all these different avatars and different symbolisms and things. But most importantly, she's symbolism of unconditional love. And I think the Pataki that I'm speaking of is very much so symbolic for in order for you to receive all of the things that you think you want in this world, if you don't have a level and the real foundated level of unconditional love, you will be forgotten about. And Oshun, she's the leader. She's the leader of the Aj, right? So she's the leader of the witches or the leader of the money, right? Even her idea is wealth. She's, she wear all the pretty stuff and she got all the jewels and stuff on, cheap, you know? But it's because she loved everybody with a certain unconditionalness, if and especially you love with that same kind of effort. And she's the thing that makes things want to attract to one another. She's the thing that makes this lighter light. Like she's the thing that made it want to do that to light. It's not the light.
I instantly thought about Tina Marie and Ring James. Like because and that's crazy. I just thought about if Tiny had said it for 10, they just hit 10 years. And she was like, "You light my fire." And like that's Oshun.
And that's the idea of just the concept of the song or the words fire and desire. One of Oshun's husbands was Shango. And Shango is the Orisha of lightning and magnetism and of fire to a big degree. And he is symbolic for fire, for actually being able to spit what we call Ofoashe, or words of power, and it's fire or Shango and desire or Shun. She's desire. She's what you want. You don't even care if it ain't good for you. It's what you want, and what you want always supersedes what you need. Always. So that's just a little ashe for yay. Ashun, or Ashun. And so, we say Monife Rayo, which means I love you. I love you. And so I love Oshun. And I pray that everybody, and I manifest that everybody out there in this hearing this, gains a blessing, as well as a great uplift from Oshun, because she is mother love. Nothing against any other Orisha. They all have their attributes, but she's the one that's mother love. So thank you, Oshun. I do pray.
Yes. Thank you.
You said about Odu.
Before we segue into Odu, I just want people to know this spiritual system that he's speaking on. This is a spiritual system that comes from melanated people. When you see the depictions of these entities, are these personifications of nature, because that's what it is. The way how nature is expressed through different human entities, it's the same thing that you see in Kemetic science. When you see Geb representing the earth, or you see Noon representing the waters, that's what you see in the Orishas. But to our benefit is these entities have melanin and they look like us. So it's something that is great to give to your children. I was so happy that I had something from a culture that I have ties to, whether it be my great ancestors that came from out of that area years ago before my indigenous ones. But even still, it's a culture that I don't mind attaching myself to, because I can show my child power that's associated with melanin. And that's one of the most powerful things about it. Not to say that that's the most important part, but that was one of the most powerful things to me. I found something that was that great, that looked like me.
Yeah. And just to add to it, a lot of, I'm not a nobody special per se, but I'm just here to tell you, when it comes to this idea of spookism, and a lot of people, they they hear about stuff, and say, what you mean? I take the water and I do what? So I talk to it. Man, it's so many different things that our culture as melanated people have been robbed of, and implicitly the history, as well as the culture of like what we really kind of.
We got to keep it 100 and say why that even happened. And a lot of it it comes from them Christian roots. No disrespect to anybody who follows that doctrine. And I grew up learning that stuff. There's Christian Cherokees, there's people who practice that.
Well, believe it or not, it's Yoruba. They have a church in, I think it's, I know it's in Nigeria, surely. It's like
a lot of Nigerians are Christian.
Well, but it's like a sect of Christianity. It's a cross between Orisha, I think it's in New York, Orisha and Christianity. I don't know how the hell they do it. If it works, more power to you. But I'm also saying for the reality of it, it's just getting into the understanding of it. It opens up portals that begin to reveal themselves with lifelong questions that you always have, or lifelong things that you like. Damn, that's maybe why I do that. Or
in order to get our people to getting to that point, we have to let them know the reason for the roadblock in the first place, and it's really because of the association. We never, as a people, believed in a hell or a devil.
Yeah.
So we didn't even partake in death, because we understand energy is eternal. Albert Einstein said it E equals MC squared. It keeps on transferring. So the spirit is energy. So
where do you think he learned that from?
So when we know that aspect, we know that we never. And then this was their problem with the Zulu Nation. These people was not scared to die, so they fought, and they was slaughtering a lot of people. So they had to implement fear into a people that never knew fear. And that came with associating with you a devil. And that's when Hellenism came about. And then this is when we started getting conditioned that if you do wrong, you're going to burn.
Right. And that kind of hellfire and brimstone, Dante Inferno kind of thought process is so opposite of the DNA of the original person. it's like, you know, but with all due respect, the Christian code, where it comes from, you know, that Osirian thing, the whole Horus, and you know, it comes from the good stuff. But just like anything, it's been so broken down and so shitted on, and you know, it's been degraded so many times that now it's just a whole bunch of mess. And you can see it now. I mean, we in the middle of a damn quote unquote pandemic, right? That that
That's the first time I heard that one.
Oh, it's all good. No, it's yours. But I'm just saying we're in this quote unquote COVID pandemic, and where's Jesus? He missed his birthday this year. He probably not coming for Christmas.
Bro, we didn't miss we
I'm
had
saying,
Juneteenth this year and no 4th. We
I'm
are
just
living in a different time, bro. And
it's,
I'm not,
it's
my family, like, I pulled family records. None of my family is slaves, like, legit. But I
mhm,
respect people who believe that their family went through that aspects of being prisoner of the war.
sure.
Now, and I celebrate with my people. But for you to understand what happened in this year of really 2012,
Mhm.
because
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
2012,
yeah.
yo, if you know, and then remember, they were saying that 12/12 is gonna be the shift. Remember, I remember because
Mhm,
my birthday is
mhm.
12/12. I never
Right,
forget
right,
this.
right,
So I
right.
just be like, and then come to find out we 8 years behind. So that
Yeah, yeah.
means the time I'm coming up on my 30th cycle, it's supposed to be really dramatic shifts coming in the world as it pertains to spiritual and physical things. And like we're seeing it happen right now, today.
And
Right when Donald Trump is
these kind of things.
facilitating this. This is crazy.
Yeah. No. These kind of things, again, between the Jewish community and the Christian community, and even some of the Islamic community, you know, these major religions that consider themselves to help people. I mean, a lot of them have a lot of sick shit going on, to say it lightly. You know, whether it's pedophilia, child trafficking. You know, I just seen the damn Boy Scouts of America, which is an all Christian based organization. They just shut down the whole nothing. Ain't no Boy Scouts of America
Oh, I
nowhere.
know.
And
I
they
used
talking
to
about
be I used to be a Boy Scout. Thankfully, I never got touched on, but that's mainly because my family ran the troop. So my troop was ran by melanated
right.
people, and it
But
was in my school, and my family was the teachers at the school. So I
so the
didn't have
thing
no
about
problems.
the thing about, and that's great, man. Real talk. My mama, they weren't having it. But the thing about how essential African spirituality is for melanated people is just this. You have people who are compromisable when it comes to religion, religare, or to go back. You know, they're compromisable. When it comes to spirituality, you already know there's no compromise. I can't do this to that because I can't. I don't. Nobody told me I'm not, because I shall not know. That's not what we say. I just don't. I don't do that. Why not? I don't. I don't compromise by doing it. I'm not compromisable. And when that happens, this is why I have nothing against what's his brother name? Nick Coonan. Nothing against Nick Coonan,
Who the
but
hell is Nick
uh,
Coonan?
I mean Nick Cannon. Sorry,
Oh,
nothing against Nick Coonan, but with all due respect, you know, any brother that's got my Maurice uh, head
yeah, I'm about to
guard,
say you can't
and you
revert back
sitting
after
here.
you take that step for the money, bro. You
You,
can't.
hey
You
man,
can't.
I ain't got nothing to do. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Again, you said you the money man, I'm the spirit guy. You know, and
No,
so
like I'll say that openly. Like as a melanated man who knows himself, you made a statement. It's okay to retract that statement, and it's also okay to apologize to those people. But the manner in which you do it, you don't turn and tuck your tail. You stand on, like, you can acknowledge where you were wrong at and
yeah,
expressing that a whole people was
yeah.
not shit. But in
Mhm.
history, these people have proven themselves not to be shit, and you are not wrong for saying that. And you can stand on that, especially as being an indigenous man in this land, because
But
you know
but what
your
is
history. But
What
it's
is
about
it?
the check, bro. So you see what it say
does
right
it
here.
say about? Not facts. You speaking facts. What does it say about the spirituality of the people? Because if he was not just an average person, but him being who he is, speaking about different leaders like Minister Farrakhan, people like that. Why is it that he's not tapping in and saying, "Hey, Louis, come holler at me. I need you to get me together because I said some stuff that wasn't accurate, or they trying to chew me up and spit me out. I need." Or why he ain't reached out in general?
Because I'll tell you straight up,
Come on,
because
come on.
Farrakhan ain't writing his check, bro. That's why. We know
So,
anybody
what?
who is let's be realistic about the commercial aspect when it comes to spirituality. The individuals who took up our science, the Jewish, it means to pertain to, because they're pertaining to the original people, which is the
Mhm,
ones who brought them about. So
mhm.
the Jewish are the ones running the commercial situation. They practice the
Sure,
Kabbalah and make you pick up a Bible.
sure. These are the same people. I remember watching this video a few days ago, and it was talking about Adolf Hitler, and it was saying how Adolf Hitler, um, like one of his first things that two rules that he put into place when he first became the commander over Germany and shit, was the first one was he shut down all the gay bars, all of the clubs, all of the things that were like going on with the entertainment type thing, because the Jews ran that shit. And then the second thing he did was take away all of the interest. So there's no more interest because Jewish people,
They run the banks, and
yeah,
interest is you making
and
money off
so
of nothing,
so
which is technically fraud.
surely, exactly. So the reason why Adolf Hitler initially hated the Jews had nothing to do with them being imperfect or Jewish, but it had the whole idea where they was robbing people. And now what we seeing right now is the same system to come back around. You understand? And this whole COVID thing is a big mashup of a mask that's containing it. And I ain't, I, I'm just putting the pieces together. But I'm
But
saying
also,
only.
as us being now, this is when the ancestors kick in with me to just be like, so be like, this is when I tell people you can't, at one point in your life, you have to stop being like, these motherfuckers are ruining my life, because now we have all of this tech and this information, and you're learning, like, if you hearing these voices in your head telling you need to step up, snap in, like, get with it, like, you need to listen to that, because if your ancestors are working through you, there is no level of oppression on that
Well,
side,
well
because you
let
know
me
what
let
you're
me
supposed to do. Hmm?
let me just chime real in with that real quick. We are the ancestors. You understand? They're not just working through us; they are us, in the sense that, like, we are the ones that came back to get the shit together. We are the ones that came back to make sure, you ain't doing that. Checkmate. No, ain't no game. We ain't playing. And so a lot of the times, and I'm gonna say this to all my melanated people and people that just feel that fire and that uh don't fall back. Don't go less. Go harder. Be madder. And I'm not saying madder like go burn shit up, and no, that's foolish. I'm talking about be madder in the sense at the idea of, man, I gotta figure out more about me. I gotta take back what's mine. Because I came back to get it. That's the only reason we incarnated in this generation, because we came back to get it. Think about it. We could be
If you truly about nation building, you need to study and look into yourself, because the first nation you build is the one within your home. And how can you be a proper teacher if you don't know where you came from in order to implement that information into your children?
Ashay. And also,
So
just speaking on the nation idea, and this is just being honest with people, man. Black people, black people, stop doing that, man. Stop calling that, stop
you
saying that
said
shit,
it
man.
twice. So you meant crayons.
Bro, stop doing it, man. It's part. Back in the day, it was a term of endearment, and it was something niggas needed for like, you know, like we black power, you know, black. But now it's more used against us in the sense of legalese, and it's used against us on different ways where it means nothing. I always ask people, where is the nation of black? Where's the country? Point on the map where the damn black country is, and I'll tell you, they don't got one. There's no such thing. So nationality, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit is so important. And the idea of just knowing about like national, them white folk, this the KKKs. The reason why they've been around so long is because they what they call them? Nationalists. Nation, right? Nation, right? That's what they don't even belong. They ain't even here. And that's why the end of the niggas, what is it called? Niggas fucking up ass shit. What is it called?
You talking about the NCAF? My man who can't shoot, bro.
If my melanated people is in any kind of way.
I just got told today it was like 4 to 6 people who got shot rolling with him, bro. I'm like, we don't never hear about the European militia people get shot.
Man, there's so many agents, bro. You go Indeed, you go Indeed.com.
I believe he's an agent, bro. He came on there with that WWE shirt on, bro, and that shit killed me alone. He can't shoot, and then like people, another brother, no disrespect to the brother I'm talking about right now, he brought it up, and I had to ask him. I was like, "Are you related to fam? Because you really being protective over him." And I was like, for somebody who grew up on a military base, who has 2 military parents. One who was retired from the Army and the Marine Corps. My mother's retired from the Marine Corps. My mom's a shooter. I shoot. My father's a shooter. I teach my son how to shoot. That man's trash, bro.
The fact, when I seen that little mashup of that, I was very much so not necessarily saddened, but I just know that when quote unquote black folk come out of nowhere.
We so clicky, bro. We need something to click up in.
With shit that don't even make sense. We've been so conditioned to just go with it. Like, oh, it represent us? Cool. Black Lives Matter? Oh, yeah, that's us. Cool. It say black, then that means.
But one thing I do appreciate about that is it wasn't technically it was a reactionary movement, because I couldn't even say that they moved first. It was still reactionary, because that's one thing that melanated people do. They react instead of being proactive and moving first and just having things in order. So everything that they're moving on right now is a reaction to something that has happened. Versus now, if these things were just present and in place, these militias or militant forces in these neighborhoods already being proactive, you wouldn't see some of these killings. And that's where I get where people are. That's why people be so tight with me for cutting into my man's. It's like, well, he doing something. You want to scream? Are you like, no, I just don't put all my business out there because I'm not stupid. But like, I get it. Like, you all feel it's best for you to keep marching after years of you marching with no results, and I've been getting results just by using it.
All of this stuff is going on, man. It's all predicated. We're gonna see it in a few months. Don't worry about it.
2020 is one for the goddamn books.
It is way bigger than
time to be alive.
And all I say is take advantage of it. I don't like Black Lives Matter. You ain't gonna catch me with a shirt on. You ain't gonna catch me hollering it out. But I'm gonna tell you like this. Look, I'm gonna tell you like this. I was at Subway the other day, right? And I was hungry as hell. It was like 11 o'clock, right when they was about to close. And so I go in. My man's, he Hispanic, right? He say to me, he don't even tell me that they closed. It's a white lady in front of me that he's serving, right? And so the white lady get her food, or he making it and stuff. And then as he get finished, he said, "Oh, we closed." I said, "Hold on, bro." All right. And I said, "All right." And I walk outside, and I just so happened to look down in my phone or my car when I cut it on. It said 10:55. I was like, "Oh, hell no." Went back in there.
Detroit shit.
I don't need that. So I went back in there and told him, I say, "Man, it's 10:55." And he was like, "Oh, I'm like, bro, you know what, bro? I ain't even gonna go ham on you. Let me just holler at your manager." And I started going in on him and stuff. I said, "You know what, bro? This some Black Lives Matter." And he started crying. Dude started busting out crying. I said, "You know what? All I gotta do is," I said, "Think about it, bro. If I would have just made a video of seeing what this was and said Black Lives Matter on it, this whole place would be scrutinized. When the manager got on the phone, she couldn't even speak English. She had to get a translator. You feel me? He was telling her what I said, and she was like, he's right. The customer, first of all, always right. And then second of all, him being on this whole conscious level, this how you can just use this weaponized melanated tool. You know what I mean? You can't lose. I would prescribe every Black person, if you ain't got no damn education, you ain't got no damn knowledge, and go get you a job.
A weapon now.
Hey, they giving it away to you for real. You know what I'm talking about? And I ain't trying to be funny. I'm saying, look,
this right here, I'm gonna have to take this clip. I'm gonna have to drop this. You said you gotta use the skin to win. The game's changing in 2020.
Man, get in tune, get in tune and get out the room.
For protection is brown to get down, baby.
You use it. I ain't trying to say go around, but I'm saying what I do honestly. Hey, I can't tell you how many times white person or somebody of a different ethnicity let me walk in front of them. Oh, yeah.
I sure enough will. Okay.
I needed that. Well, thank you. Yeah. So it's the regaining.
They want to let me ride on the elevator by myself. Why? Thank you. I like my space.
And again, this is time back into the universal karma that's been going on. You feel me? This is the kind of idea of the start of this meek shall inherit the earth shit in the Bible, or this, the stuff gonna be inversed and it's gonna be flipped back. It's really sick how the elite are doing things, but again, spirit, they know what they doing with these babies and all of this other shit they got going on. It's all spirit based. And when you're dealing with spirit of people who you've slaughtered, you did, people that you've taken their whole lives from them where they can't even hurt them. What you say?
I'm gonna grab these books while you break that down, because just so people know, I am an intellectual. I am pro information, regardless of who it comes from. It is my job to learn that way that I know how to implement this information into life, or either know how to usurp it. And you can't do that if you never read it or you don't know about it. So I'm about to say, bro, he get exactly what I'm talking about, because you got to be an open-minded individual to even deal with some of these spiritual things. But I'm about to grab a couple of these books, and I want y'all to just have an idea of just like what it means to be open.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the culture that we live in and been acculturated to breeds a certain closed-mindedness to it, but we think it's open-minded. Like, I'm not. I don't care what you do. Is it working? If it works, do it. I'm not sitting up here saying you should be serial killing stuff like that. But I'm saying if what you're doing works, you sitting up here praying the carpet, shit, the carpet, next thing you know, the doorbell ring and they bring your package from Amazon. Shit, keep praying to the carpet. You see? But if you've been practicing something so damn long, you've been calling on these blessings and trying to get some, you say there's some power in the thing, and this shit ain't even got a battery in it. I don't know. It's not too many things I can tell you other than stop doing that shit. Stop wasting your time. Even though your mama and your daddy them told you that Jesus or Allah or Buddha or whoever it is, no, it's all dogma. I teach a class here in Houston at this metaphysics shop, and one of the first lessons I say is you got to kill your parents, man. You got to kill that idea of what they taught you to a degree, because they taught you a lot of shit that wasn't useful. They taught you some useful stuff. It's embedded in you. You do it by nature. But other things, no sir. You have to.
All right, I'm back.
Ashe.
I ain't even got a chance to crack this one open yet.
What is it? The magical. Oh yeah, Solomon wasn't even real. That's how dope Solomon was. Shout out to the Masons.
I'm already hit, bro. But the author of this book is Aleister Crowley.
Oh,
An individual who a lot of melanated people despise. But he was brilliant, and if any of you are Moors, he also had interactions with our prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Peter Moon wrote about it in his books. He said they actually was having a mind battle. They had a parchment paper fight. So they were fighting with their minds, moving a piece of paper across the table. That's what they said about, this is what a European man said about our prophet and this man. So hell yeah, I want to know what he knows. Yes, I do.
The suppression of people like Alex Cross, that guy.
Crowley.
Yeah, Crowley. People like that. People like oh yeah, that's Chucky. People that have those far out thinkings or come from those different movements like that, they always are martyred, or they're always they kick shit up on them and make it look like they're the bad guy. I don't really study Alex de Crowley because he's not a per se he's not in the tradition I'm in. And the stuff he was doing was
but
the stuff
he's the reason why we do have tarot cards to this day, though. He is.
Well, what I'm saying is the stuff I'm doing or the stuff we doing is a lot older than the tarot, and even the tarot, it comes from the whole I Ching system. This is the Tao, or the what they call the Asian system, Asian divination system. It's the I Ching. It comes from that. The Arcana, they call them Arcana, and they major and minor Arcana, and they call them deacons or decans, D-A-C-A-Ns, and this is where you get the deacons in the church, and
and also the deacons in Kemetic science. There was 36 deacons. Every deacon ruled over a 10-day period, which ruled out to be 360 days. And this is how their calendar was.
Yeah, so the deacons, again, and all of these different attributes of that idea, they
this one.
Yes. Even I was telling this brother, I said, man, he said, man, all of those things, all of them people you talk about, they're just they're Satanists and they're Luciferians. And I said, what does Satan mean? What does it mean?
How can you even talk about something that you've never studied, though?
It's okay.
Talk about something that you've never studied, bro.
This is what we here for. What I'm saying is hold that book up again. That one. So people see this logo right here, or that one right there, and they get spooked out they shit, man. And I ain't mad at
it. About us,
right? But look, I always tell people, just like Jeopardy, I like watching Jeopardy. They do this little segment on Jeopardy every now and again where they have a word and it be inverted, and you have to figure out what the word is. You know what I mean? And so it'd be like P-E-J or P-E-E-J, and it'd be Jeep. You know what I'm saying? But you got to figure it out and shit. So it's the same thing with Satan. Saturn and Satan.
Saturnalia,
Satanalia is the same idea. This is where they got the idea of Satan. This is where they got the idea of Saturn. It's Saturn. Satan represents karma. It represents the idea of authority. You understand? An elusive type of understanding. It's Sagittarius. It's Capricorn. It's Aries. It's what's the one other bull? Taurus. Yeah. These are the ideas that they took away from us. And Saturn is only about, hey dog, what you owe me? You did something 20 years ago. You thought you got away with it. I'm back. I'm here to collect my due. What's up? That's why
I get Saturn energy, and it's not my fault because that's that karmic stuff, and I got ancestor karmic energy that I have to fix.
And everybody who's looking at this, they can probably go back to like 2018, end of 2018 through the whole 2019, and say they had probably a shitstorm. Most people probably had some kind of emotional shitstorm or even financial. Just was like, what the hell, man? I just can't get up. I just can't get up, or I'm getting up, but it's I'm pulling up. You know what I mean? And that's because the authority of Saturn is one that's like, they like, oh, he's like deep, not Debo, he's the righteous Debo. Like, oh shit, hey bro, you got your apron on and shit. Like, oh shit, come Debo for real, bro. He about to, oh, and he coming to check. He not coming to, hey bro, you got it? No, okay, smack in the face. Next, you got it? Yeah, okay, no smack in the face. You got it? Nope, smack in the face. See what I'm saying? It's no negotiation. See, no compromise. This is what we gotta somewhat get to as our people, but we don't compromise. No, if you're gonna say I told my friend the other day, I said, I read this post called from John Legend, I think he wrote. He said, can a can a black man with a white wife still be pro-black? I said, yeah.
Legally, yeah. Like
I mean,
technically,
not
yeah.
even legally, even just on the like idea, the theory.
You can
yeah.
do what you want.
What they was trying to criticize on the level of that's not pro-black if you don't got a black white. And I said to myself, okay, what is pro-white? Pro-white, we know what that is. You buy white, you only fuck with white people. You probably only use white flour. You know, you only go into white stores. It's white. I don't shop it. I don't go to them
And
Jamaican.
I can like on the flip side, I can flip that so many other ways because you can be like that's super pro-black because his genetics is technically weaning out the Europeans. It depends on the individual mindset.
I mean, I can rock with that. I guess what I was getting
it's a perception, bro.
no, surely what I was getting at is that pro-white, which is the polarity or the opposite of pro-black, so they have the same content, just different dynamics. If that's the case, then we know without a shadow of a doubt what pro-white is. Pro-white means this, and this, and this. Right? So the question was, can he still be pro-black if he got a white wife? The idea of it is that pro-blackness isn't even defined. You can't define it. Because if you say I'm gonna be pro-black, what the fuck? What gas station you gonna go to? If you say you pro-black, where you gonna get your herb? I mean, where you gonna get your shit? Come on now.
But see, then the argument will come with the debate of there's people like We Buy Black, and there's all these so-called black businesses. And you know, we from the D, like up Illinois. It's that whole little strip. It ain't nothing but a whole bunch of so-called black businesses.
Yeah, but what I'm saying,
but when we really get technical on the business side, it ain't their business. Like what they're doing is they're running an operation out of somebody else's business. Because they don't 9 times out of 10 they don't own the building, and they pay taxes, they rent, so they don't have a structure in place.
That's a whole nother, in a sense, can of worms because now you're dealing with no power. You claiming you own my business, guy, but nigga, you don't even own the damn. You don't own the strip. You don't own the building. You don't own nothing but the bills, and them not even yours. Them, you just paying them. So you really not. And so this is the idea that has been brainwashed so many times over and over in our head where, oh, if I get a house, I'm doing something. If I got a business, I'm doing something. If I get married, I'm doing something. God.
If I get in a state contract, put myself in debt potentially with a person that I do not love, and then have to get divorced, and then if I owe property taxes, I can't divorce this individual, and then I gotta pay all. The killer is I gotta pay all this money for the wedding before we even get a house, before we even get established. I'm like the perception that European society has bestowed upon our community, our people. It is the main thing that keeps us behind. Like diamonds are a girl's best friend. Diamonds ain't worth shit. They're regular stones like these, bro.
Again, I just say that we just need to sometimes re-educate and redevelop what it is that we really trying to do, because
nobody knows what they want to do. That's the real effed up part. There is no direction. That's what I asked, because you brought up these people earlier, the NFAC or whatever. What are their goals? What is their direction? I said this in the other interview. You have to have a business plan, a mission statement. You got to have some direction. We got that for every business. I'm like, there's in E5, there's a direction, there's intentions, like there's clear direction in this. If people ain't got clear vision, You on a hamster wheel.
Go up to most melanated people and ask them what a business plan is, elements of a business plan, or have they ever had or did one. I ain't against my people, but most of them will say no. And then you ask them, do they have a business? And they'll say yes. What? What?
It's
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 ass
from being
backwards.
conditioned to be comfortable. And like I said, satisfaction is the equivalent of death. I said satisfaction, I wrote this in the Commandments of Commerce book. Satisfaction is for old people and the deceased. There's no reason why I should be satisfied at 29 years old. I got a lot of stuff to do. I got a lot of work. If I'm satisfied, I'm good. I'm gravy. I'm content. Content, and you're calm. You're done. I don't know why these people so content when having nothing been done.
Well, I think that again, I can't speak for everybody else. I just say for the people that had the privilege and opportunity to hear this conversation and dialogue. I hope that it's reaching across well where you don't misunderstand what's being said. Well, no,
Yeah,
we ain't saying throw away any and everything. I'm saying, dude, you can't go with them. You got to go with you. And if you confused, go with confusion. Go with that. It'll work for you. It'll unravel itself eventually. Believe me. But don't go with him. Don't go with her. Go with you. You see?
people have to learn to like really look inside of oneself. People don't spend it, and then this is COVID. That was my next question. Like as it pertains to COVID, how has it affected your business, and how should people like spiritually prepare and deal during this time? But I know that with COVID, it gives these people a lot of time to be with themselves. And a lot of people are having problems with that. People commit suicide. They out here losing their damn mind because people like I know people who like this. They're not comfortable just being in a house, not speaking. I'm like, why you gotta talk to somebody?
You know, I remember in college reading this article on overstimulation, and it talked about like these two. It was talking about these coefficients and how they was manipulated. But the idea behind it was overstimulation of a nation. So people are or now we're kind of probably like stimulated to like neutral, but like maybe 6 months ago and prior, we were so overstimulated where there's okay, I gotta take care of this phone, my job, my kids, my business, the trip I'm going to, the trip I want to go to, my hair, my nails, you know, the party tonight. This is so much overstimulation, and none of these things have I said I have to do for myself. None of them I'm really doing for myself. I'm doing with myself, but not for me. If you say, well, I'm going on a trip, okay, where you going? I'm going to Jamaica with me and my homeboy or homegirl. You're not going for you. I bet you're not going for you. That's not even how it works. It's not what you do. It's not how people think they do stuff. They say, no, I'm going to take me and my significant other, or I'm going on a trip by myself.
What's something that you do for yourself? I know that the main thing that I do because of how much I work, like I got multiple phones. I'm always on the computer. I damn near work all day, all days out the week, throughout the night. But when I do find time to get myself some time, I'm usually sparking up some meditation,
That
some boss ass cannabis,
right.
and I'm usually watching cartoons because I don't care for like real life TV. It stresses my brain out a little bit because it be
Sure.
so much BS, and I feel like cartoons, it's an expression of the consciousness that can't really be expressed with humans, and I like to see how that's expressed, and it gives me a sense of what's the word for stimulation? Serotonin.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that I always say animation. I remember when I was doing the music super heavy with artists, I used to tell them, man, this was before like I guess like 2014, 15, whoever was getting hot then. I don't remember who it was, but I used to tell them, listen to what they doing.
You
You
said
got to,
14, 15.
You got It's probably
That
like
was Yo Gotti, and like Yo Gotti was really popping around that time.
but
You know, I got them
nah, but Yo Gotti, he was popping, but I'm talking about the game was starting to lean towards more of this young thug kind of type of shit. And this even like where they with Roddy Ricch, where
Oh
you know
yeah, that
all they
was the
want
start
to
of the
hear.
Migo time. That was the start of the Migo
Migo.
section.
There we go. There we go. So what I said to them is, listen to what they're doing. They're doing animation in their voice. They're not giving us, like, when you listen to Gotti, it's real street nigga. He's saying like it's a word. But with the Migos, it's you got patterns and you got melody. And right there, what you're doing, just like with quote unquote Satanism, or the idea of this concept of Saturn, which was the music. That's what Lucifer was about, music. Oh, and so when they know that, oh, we can manipulate
Say that
if
shit.
we if we manipulate the frequency, the pitches, and the rhythms, we know if we play even Africans, that they da 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 versus da 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 da, it brings a whole different energy down.
Do
And
you know
so
the definition of that is called by scientific terms? It's the doctrine of ethos, how music directly affects your behavior. I did a story on it. Damon made me write a whole my senior essay on it when I was in choir, bro.
what they're playing on, just to add to that, is the anima and the animus. So the anima, it's like the male energy.
What you do with your speaker? You sound different.
Oh, you hear it now?
No, you just sound like you on speaker.
What about now?
It sound better.
Okay. So I just say for you watching cartoons, it's pretty cool. I was just watching something that was called. I wouldn't prescribe this to nobody because there's so much like pedophilia going on in these cartoons and shit, man. It's wild. It's called High School High or High School something. And I mean, this shit was wild. I was like, oh, I gotta change this, bro. So much going into your subconscious. It's like, oh, this is terrible. But for me, what I do is I like to go into nature. I like to go into nature, whether that means just going to a park, going to sit by like a little lake and just not necessarily always just meditating, but because I'm in tune with who I am and I know what kind of energy um, is draining to me, is cleansing to me, is charging to me. I know kind of, where to go and, you know what I mean? Like what to kind of do. And I would, bay that to anybody. And, some people, they can.
What spiritual tips you got for like kind of along the lines of what you're speaking on right now, like for COVID, like during this time, like things people can do, like people with restless minds, people who got money issues, like they're really concerned because well, I'll let like first off, don't think I got all these books and I don't know nothing about no spells. I for damn sure cast spells, and I don't mind saying that. I love it. I speak it. It's like you just have to understand what I'm saying when I make that statement because I am a walking testimony of that. What's that? What is it that Shango had? Ofa Oshe. Exactly. Speaking words of power. And the words that I speak, they manifest and come into an existence. That is me casting spells. On top of I handwrite things. And based on the stuff I put on paper, it manifests. Tell me that ain't magic by definition. Right there, textbook, baby.
This is how beautiful, and I tell people all the time, especially for black people, we have the oldest soul in the universe. So a lot, like I tell people all the time.
Bro, unmute your mic again. Mute and unmute your mic again. All right. Yeah, is somebody calling you? It sounds the same.
Let me see. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So even with like the Dorisha and the Lola, or all these different deities, the damn Titans, or whatever, the Anunnaki, whoever you believe, the truth is whoever. We, the black folk, our soul so cousins, they daddy, or they sisters, they brothers. We're not really their servants. So I try to tell people all the time, I ain't even initiated, but I feel like I'm showing this people. I ain't even initiated, but I feel like that mind is just come, body is probably lost up. But it's just like if you my long lost cousin, if I don't ever tap in, especially if I got all of the money or I got all of the connection, if I don't ever tap in, y'all look out for you if I get thinking about you, but I ain't gonna just be thinking about good straight. When I tap in, he gonna make sure I'm straight. Like, damn, this is almost good. So for me, I tell people all the time, get you good, if you can, a sacred space, an ancestral space, a sacred space that you can dedicate for your own sanctity. It don't gotta be no huge thing. It ain't gotta be nothing big. It ain't gotta be nothing bad. Just something that helps you to alter your state of mind. Some people call this a hope, but it's really to alter the state of mind that you're in so that you can get in tune with what it is that you're really trying to attain. Because it's not something that just happens. I can't just I think I want to make this more sacred. And I'm just thinking, you can't say that. But we all know how extreme intent and how extreme like actual working. It's not working. It didn't really work. So for me, I know I've had testimony from people, whether it's from bracelets, whether it's from readings that they told me, called me back and told me stuff that I don't even remember.
Bro, hold on one second. All right, can you hear me? Yeah. Your phone still sound the same.
Oh man.
Now it don't. I don't know what you just did, but
I just keep hitting the mic, but I mean, I was gonna say, not to cut you off, but I have to. I got about 10, 15 more minutes, until I have to go and drop these bracelets off.
Oh no, bro. That was we wrapping up. I done had you on here close to an hour and a half now, and I most definitely appreciate your time, your energy.
I still have a little time, so I don't want to rush. I just wanted to put that out there, because I love y'all. I need y'all. Y'all solid. And if anybody got any questions,
do you offer readings to people?
I do, man. I ain't against it. Like I tell you all the time, it ain't something that I'm just like, hey, I'm doing reading. But I'm also like, if somebody call me, yeah, sure. Because you don't call me on that for no reason. And so I'm just one of those people. I just want to see everybody better, and that's why I always kind of consult with you, because it's hard for me to put a price on certain things because the type of humility that's involved in something that's so sacred and so original. You know what I mean? But I know how you get down, where it's like, hey, that's worth this, and so
yeah, because I look at it the way I have to go through it. Even when my funds wasn't what they are today, I got my bread together and I paid for my readings. I paid for my initiation.
I'm glad you just said that. One of the idioms I want to leave the world with is like an E5. It says, prevention is better than the cure. Let that sizzle in your soul. You know what I'm talking about? Prevention is better than the cure.
That's what I'm talking about as well. Melanated people being reactionary. That is imperative. That's a great segue.
If you can get a reading, if you can get some kind of advice, some kind of foresight, you know what I'm talking about what ain't going on or what's going on, prevention is better than the cure. Once you need the cure, then it's too late. You on the deathbed. You sick. You see what I'm saying? But you can just only smoke one cigarette today, or only drink 2 shots today. You see what I'm saying? You can prevent it. So yeah. that way.
Well, once again, bro, it's always a pleasure every time I get to bring you on the platform and speak. You always got gems for people. Oh, but on an ending note, since you said I do got 10 minutes,
Yeah,
I
sure.
do need you to explain the correlation between, look, like I said, we're going back to intelligence. This is what I want to end on. Explain to these people how brilliant we are as a melanated culture for us to deal with binary code and for us to build out a whole culture or spiritual system with a set of like 256 like different destinies for individuals. Can you touch on that, please?
Yeah. So in E5 they have the word E5. It translates to scratch, and so in E5, they do a ceremony when an individual is born. It's called an Esentaye, and the Esentaye, I forget what it actually means. Something about the earth, though. First feet on the earth or something like that. But basically, what it is they take the feet of the baby and they mark what they call Odu, and Odu in Ifa means womb. So it's a portal, if you will, or container. And so all of these different portals or containers come with different stories. These portals and containers used to walk the earth before it was humans. You understand? And there's stories, old stories about these different Odus or Lodus or Irumale or higher energies who came before the Orisha and came before the humans. And so the idea that we as practitioners use different processes, incantations, as well as mathematical procedures to actually figure out what the hell is going on, I think is not only out of this world, but I also think it's phenomenal because it takes some stuff. Even me, sometimes I do a read for myself, or I get a read from somebody, and I remember I used to do it more than I do now. I used to go against it. Like I said, don't do it, I won't do it. They said, oh yeah, I'm do it. You know. And then something happened, not because I say it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy where, it's like a voodoo down. You see your name on it, you think it's you. No, I don't even remember it. I don't even care about it. But then something happened so extreme where you gotta say, damn, why is this happening? And you start to think it was the Dafa or the reading. So the idea that these energies are in the universe and they're able to give you information about why the hell you're here, not on the level of like, no, this ain't no, like, I get nothing against terror, but it's not that. It's way more art, more ancient, way more. And I'm not just talking about Ifa. It's a lot of other traditions. Okan tradition, which is in Ghana, Togo and Benin, they got Vodun, or what they call voodoo. They all have a similar base. Even Vodun have a very similar base, very, very. And so the ability for these traditions to work and to still be around through all of the even I just had an epiphany about it's a tradition in this sect of E5 called Santeria, and Lucchini so Santeria. And Santeria is a mashup of Catholic saints and Orisha combined together. Because the black people that was taken from uh, West Africa, they dropped them off at the islands and stuff, at Cuba and the different islands, and the masters said they had to practice Catholicism, right? And so they got so smart, they said we can't give up our African stuff. We're gonna put the African stuff we're gonna synchronize it. So they're gonna come in and see St. Jude, but we really gonna be praising Ogun. And so this kind of impact and this kind of evolution of the tradition was so dynamic for the tradition nowadays. I can only imagine. I can't imagine. I'm here in Houston, Texas. I see more Santeria practitioners than I could ever imagine seeing Ifa, quote unquote. But even though it's the same quote unquote thing, it's different variations and stuff. And
It's
I
the
went,
same way here in Florida. It's way more Santeria than it
yeah,
is EFI.
yeah. And I went to Botanica not recently. Here it's called Botanica Orisha. And the lady was blown away by me. She was blown away. Like, oh my God, like, so you really, oh, you still believe
Bro,
it?
there don't be a lot of these out here. You see
Yeah,
the yellow boys.
yeah. So, and then in Nigeria is different. So, you know, it's all to me just a imperative process. I don't have any children biologically at this moment, but I'm. It's not even a question to me. Like they all have to go through a process so I know kind of how to have
I
a better
feel
life. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to do what my parents did in the sense of like they just was shooting in the dark.
it's,
It,
that's a great ending point. If you have a baby, if you having a baby, you have children. In order for you to save yourself a lot of headache, get them reading when they first born, so you can understand what you about to be dealing with
for
for the rest of
real.
your life.
I mean, don't get it twisted. Without a reading, like I tell people all the time, it's not the end of the world. Or if you don't believe it, you're not with it, you're not knowledgeable. Cool, you scared of cool. Raise your baby how you want to raise them. But when that little person decides that they want to do some stuff that you don't agree with, and you go off the handle because you like that ain't how I raised you, or you know that ain't what it's supposed to be, then you gonna think about why you got to read. Because if you'd got to read, you might have found out, hey, that kid is gonna be an extremely temperamental child. They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
when they get mad, they're gonna need to be alone for a minute before they can talk. If you knew just that small piece of information right there, even if he was wrong and it started happening, you'd be able to say, or at least be able to call the other person back and say, hey man, this stuff you said was right. What I need to do now? And they say, oh, we just need to do elbow. Oh, we just need to give this to Ocean. Do this, do that. And because they're babies, the spirits of nature, the Orisha, they taking care of them right now. They protect them. Once we get older, they become our servants. Now they do what we say to do in the sense that you gotta have some respect with it, but it's the idea they work for you now. They used to protect you, now they work for you. So in a sense, you know, if you have that understanding, you're good. But when you're a kid, I can only imagine if I was a kid and I knew about Ogun. Oh my God! If I knew about if I knew about Oshun when I was thinking about man, which girl I want to pick when I'm 14, 15.
Oh
What
my
girl?
God, girls would have been so easy if I got the game on Oshun as a
Easy,
child. Girls would
easy.
have been so easy.
No questions. I don't know. That ain't it. Or if I grew up in that African centric type of, I'd be like, no, I don't even want to do that. I don't even want to go that way. It would have been a no brainer, even though the hood kind of groomed us for that certain disposition as well. But it was a lot more complicated, if you will. You know. So
Understood. Well, bro, I know this your time right now. I appreciate you, my brother, and Modabo.
peace. Love y'all. Odabo.